We did it again, didn't we?
Let's do it.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
What's up, man? We're going to get that right the beginning of this podcast one day.
Well, not today.
Not today, actually.
Just one day. Just one day. So it is so good to see you. Hope all is well with you in the LOL. What is going on?
We're doing well. We're doing well over here. Busy day. It's just it's Tuesday, and totally blessed to be on the podcast. It's something that I totally look forward to every week, and it's for me. It's my midweek boost. Even though it's like, hey, well, it's only Tuesday, yeah, but it's almost Wednesday, so it's my midweek boost.
It's like Humpback Eve.
Back Eve. Okay.
Humpback.
I will come into work I can almost guarantee every Wednesday, and I work from home, so I work virtually, and somebody in our leadership team, I'll be like, hey, how's it going today? And they're like, Mike. I'm like, it doesn't get old, huh?
It doesn't. Wow. So a lot going on. Busy day for me too. I had sectional interviews. One of my responsibilities, one of the hats I wear.
Yeah.
I have some new credentialees that are becoming
Cool.
ministry people. So had that. I had a luncheon, and then my wife was on the way home, and one of her car lights was flashing, and she's like, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "You're low on oil." She's like, "Come get me." So I had to rescue my wife.
I mean the inside lights. I thought you were talking about like the headlights themselves. I was like, maybe you could get some blinker fluid.
Yeah, blinker fluid. Yeah, well, you have to rotate the air in your tires every so often too. So, but anyhow, yeah, had to tackle that, and then since we were down there, we grabbed dinner and got home, and it's just been a long day. I really have not even unpacked all my stuff from the office today. So we'll get done, but it's been a great day, and I can't wait to share it tonight, man. Last week we had our draft for our Bible characters.
Yeah, it was fun. It was super fun.
It was fun. Well, this week we're going to bring on our special guest, and we're going to defend our picks and have a lot of fun with that.
Absolutely.
Plus, we want to talk about some of the really cool things that the Lord has spoken and done in some of our services. And I know you have some things that you want to share, Mike, and we're just going to have a great night. What is going on? Hold on.
We got banners going on. We got fireworks.
We got everything going on, man.
You know what we don't have? You and I, at least.
What's that?
Teams that are in playoffs right now.
And hockey playoffs. Well, at least some teams made it. So you're a Lightning fan now, aren't you? Didn't you adopt them as your team?
Yep. Yeah. And Pastor. For those of you who are watching, Pastor Larry is actually the person who got me into hockey. When I moved to Florida in 2011, however many years that is, can't do math right now. And I moved here the year before the Lightning started getting good. So I was not a Rangers fan. I was not a Devils fan. Just wasn't a big hockey fan. So one of the other impacts in my life that Pastor Larry gave me was to learn hockey. So
well, I don't know if that's a good influence or a bad influence, but nonetheless, it's an influence.
Both. a real influence. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I love hockey. It is, it's probably my favorite sport to watch because, honestly, it's the one sport that I know I can't do. Now, I'm not saying I can do the others, but I lie to myself and believe that I can still do some of those things. I can still do some of those things, but I feel it.
Yeah.
I could still throw the rock a little bit, and I could still power a softball or a baseball. And let's see, Laura's on here. I would love to go to a hockey game one day.
Yeah, they're exciting. I will tell you. So, fun fact about at least me, and I'll just go with me because I'm not sure about with my children. Since I've lived in Tampa, I've been to 14 Lightning home games, and I've never seen them lose when I attend. So they're undefeated whenever I go. So people are like, "Oh, maybe you should go to the playoffs." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe you should pay for me."
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize it's expensive to be at a hockey game. They're not cheap. I know when you first came to Tampa, if you put 2 tickets on somebody's car, when you came out there before there, I mean that's the way it was. People just didn't go. And since I came to the city, Tampa won its first Super Bowl and won the Stanley Cup. A lot of people say it's the players. I say it's me, but. That's just me. That's what I'm thinking. It has to do with me. When I lived in Pittsburgh, the Steelers Super Bowls, Stanley Cups, World Series. Since I've left the city of Pittsburgh, the Pirates have not won a World Series. You could say that's just coincidence. I think there's something to do with that. So just saying. But anyhow, we're gonna have fun tonight. Listen, if you're out there watching and you honestly think that I have anything to do with that, my dad, Mike, when I was a kid, was super superstitious. Yeah. And if my mom walked into the room and the other team would score, he would blame it on her. Like she somehow impacted the score the other game. Or like, stand right there. Don't move. Right, you're going to jinx the game. Like, just crazy stuff. But we're going to have a great time tonight talking. We're going to talk about the Lord. We're going to talk about our draft. And we're just going to have some fun. But we'll be right back right after this. Hey, welcome to the Celebration Church podcast. I'm your host, Larry Schroeds, and with me always is my main man, my number 2, my ride or die, the guy I love but don't cohabitate with, Mike Molinaro.
For those of you who are watching, I did go back and watch last week, and I did say that, so I just put, I did say that on
So we did the instant replay, the video replay, and we went back and saw that Mike does get a penalty flag for saying that we cohabitate. I don't know. I think you were like maybe trying to throw out your $25 words when a $5 word would work. But it was fun nonetheless. And all in good fun. I know you meant well, but I just wanted to clear up that
I think we're clear.
Yeah, we're very clear. You live in Land O'Lakes. I'm in the WC, the Wesley Chapel. So we are.
There's a lot more that goes on with not cohabitating. That we're not going to get into.
Yeah. We'll just shy away from that. Mike lives a good 30 minutes from me. We'll just say that, and we keep that. It's a good boundary.
Yeah, it's a good boundary.
But honestly, Mike, we love you. We're going to have a great night tonight. Hey, what do you think we should do? Should we go fun or should we go into talking about Sunday?
Let's talk about Sunday briefly.
Let's talk about Sunday. I know, and I'm not looking for any kudos myself, but man, it just seemed like a lot of people connected with the message on Sunday. I got a
Yeah.
lot of positive feedback. I don't, a lot of people just said, man, that was so good. People asked, was that recorded? And if you're watching and you haven't seen it, you could go onto our Facebook page and go to our videos or on our YouTube channel. And if you haven't liked or subscribed to those, do so. But all of our past week's sermons are there. We have a lot of great content available for you. So just go ahead
So
and go back and watch it. So why
I
don't you
had a,
talk about your impression, Mike?
well, actually, first I want to ask you a question about like, so you've shared before how you prep for your sermons and whatnot, sometimes series. What was it that led you this week to preach on what you preached?
So I've just looked at a lot of people seem to be looking for something. They're always looking for something external. They're like, man, if I could just have a little bit more power, if I could, if I could position myself just to get more of God or all these things. And I think the issue is a lot of times we don't realize that when we first gave our hearts to Jesus, we've been filled with his spirit.
Right.
And the Bible, the Bible is very clear that the same power that raised Christ from the dead has been given to you.
That's right.
There's all these things that we need to look at. And I know for myself, I get easily distracted. I allow things, if I'm not intentional, sometimes I miss the bigger picture. And I think a lot of people are in a place where they don't realize that they have everything that they need already inside them.
Yeah.
One of my heroes, Tommy Barnett, years ago wrote a book called Miracle X. I don't even know if it's still in print or not, but it basically talks about the fact that the miracle is already in the house. What you need for a miracle is already there. So taking that concept and then just digging into the fact that, man, we want to see the power freed in your life. It's trapped. That's the way I look at it. We
Right.
need to unleash it. We don't need to attain it. We don't need to access it. We just simply need to release it in our life and be aware that we have the power to see God do incredible things in our life, and it's just coming into alignment with him.
And I think that's really good. There's times that Laura says she gets distracted, took some time off social media. Yep, that's good. That's sometimes we have to do that. I think sometimes, like with, at least I'll just talk about me, right? Is I'll tend to rely on myself. I'm pretty resourceful. My wife is extremely resourceful, and it's like, oh, we can do all these things, and then why isn't it working? Right? Why is this not, God? Why isn't this not working? It's like, because you haven't allowed it to work yet. You haven't allowed me to work through it. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And then like the Lord is, hopefully I don't have to deal with consequences that I did something extremely stupid or something like that. But that has happened in my life. But yeah, we tend to just hold back from the Lord allowing his power to work in our lives. And sometimes it's just us. Sometimes it's not just we're getting attacked by Satan. It's not that we're getting, the enemy's this and the enemy does that. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. But sometimes it's here, the flesh. Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's us.
So for those of you who don't know, like, how long has it been? Almost 7 years ago, I lost a significant amount of weight. I got, the Lord spoke to me about getting my health in order, and I like really, really, really like focused on my weight. I was able to really get off every medication. I'm not on any medicines. The Lord's been really good to me and helped me. But I went on my cruise recently, and it was like Tuesday, and
You went on a cruise. You just said I went on a cruise. What kind of accent is that? Macruz. What is that?
I was down in the Caribbean, so I guess
that's your Caribbean accent.
Yeah.
Cruise.
So anyhow, I was on the cruise, and there was a day that like everyone kept saying, "Hey, you want to grab something to eat?" And we get done eating with like one group, and somebody else said, "Hey, you want to eat?" I ate so much food on that day. It was like I ate like I used to eat.
Right.
And then I ate some spicy stuff, and I felt like, oh, I need to. So I'm like pounding ice cream. I'm eating, and I ate literally from morning all the way past midnight.
Wow.
And I went to bed. It was like 2:00 in the morning, and my body's like, what? It was like I was having a physical exorcism. I really was. I was in the bathroom. I was questioning my life choices. I thought I was dying. I mean, I was like, I had meat sweats. I was like, oh my gosh, I felt horrible because my body's just not used to it, right? So I come out and my wife's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Man, I feel like I'm going to die." She goes, "Okay," and she rolls over. She doesn't remember that at all. I'm like, "I could have been dying, and you're like going back to sleep or whatever." But here's what we do as Christians sometimes. We don't think that our actions and our choices have anything to do. It's like just because we ask for forgiveness or just because we pray, it doesn't cancel out
Right.
the consequences for our actions. And yes, God does forgive us and he does forgive our sins and he casts us, but we still deal with the ramifications for the decisions that we make.
Right.
And if we really want to unleash or free the power of God in our life, we got to remember that we have to make good choices and we have to walk close to the Lord. And that was kind of my thought process going into the message on Sunday. And I think there was a lot of other things that people resonated with. What was there something that really resonated with you, or something that stood out for you on the message?
It's more of just a reminder who God was, or God is. I'm sorry, who God is, and who He is in my life, who He is um, in the life of my family, my children, and for generations to come. Like, you're in that fraternity of grandparenthood, right?
Yeah.
And listen, I tell people all the time. People ask me about my testimony, and I'd say today I'm living my dream, because where I came from before Christ and where I am today, by the grace of God, I'm living my dream. And then dreams grow, right? And it's through the power of God. It's through the power of the cross that I'm where I am today. And one day I do want to have a family. I want to have generations to come who are God-fearing generation, God-fearing Molinero. So,
Yeah.
that is, yeah.
So one of the things that we think or we say is, man, I spent time with God, right? I spent time in His presence, and you could spend good time, or you could spend like not so good time. And the illustration I gave, and then after I share this, we could get on to other things. But uh, if I took my wife out to dinner, if you remember the illustration, I said,
Yeah.
we all have a choice.
Yep.
If I take my wife to like somewhere like Bubba's 33 or Beef O'Brady's, and man, good food, right? I enjoy wings, and my wife loves Bubba's. They have great salad, and Bubba's. Again, if you're hearing me, I, I could be you could sponsor me. You sponsor the Celebration Podcast. You know, all you have to do is pay me in wings. That would work for me. It would work for you too, Mike.
It would definitely work for me. I'd go right after this.
Yeah, sponsored by
Literally, like
Bubba's 33.
Oh no, it's past. Whatever. Go ahead. Keep going. I'm sorry.
So anyhow, if I go there, the issue is they have all those TV screens around, right?
Right.
And if there's a baseball game or a football game or hockey or something in the background, I get distracted easily. My eyes get pulled to what's going on the screens, and I'm with my wife, but I'm not really spending time with my wife, if that makes sense.
Right.
Or I could choose to go to Carrabba's, which is absolutely her favorite place, and I could say, "Hey, we want a table in the back where we could kind of be private, and I could hold her hand, I could look in her eyes, and really engage and have a dinner with her." Some of us have the same experience with the Lord. We go to Bubba's with the Lord. He's kind of in our background, but he's not our focal point. He's not our attention. And then we wonder why things are not happening more regular in our life, that miracles aren't happening, that we're not seeing things really pour out of our lives.
Right.
It's not just spending time with God, but it's choosing to spend good quality time with Jesus that we have to look for, and cutting out the distractions and being intentional on our walk with Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, that illustration was perfect, and I kind of used that. So Michael wanted to talk to his brother about some decisions that they need to make, some tournaments and karate and all that other stuff. So he's like, "I'm going to take Aaron out to eat." I'm like, now that he has his license, everybody, prayer request, please. Anyway, he's like, "I'm just going to McDonald's." I'm like, "Well, if you want to take him to McDonald's," I was like, "why don't you sit inside and talk to him instead of going through the drive-thru?" He's like, "That's a good idea." All right, Pastor Sermon's working all over.
Yeah, I don't think that you landed at McDonald's, but nonetheless, yeah, great day. Like I said, a lot of people really resonated with it. I'm excited. We have some things coming up at the church.
Yep.
First, let's talk about the book of the month. Our book of the month this month is the book Unreasonable. It is a book that is not a Christian book, but there's a lot of great content. There's some real good business approach. If you're a person who is entertaining teams or building a ministry or building a group where you want to go the next level, it is such a great book. Again, there might be some language that you have to kind of censor. Don't listen to the audio version if you're around small children, but just kind of have to look past it to really get the good stuff. It's an excellent business book.
Yeah,
and
I would go as far as saying servant leadership. Right?
Have you engaged much with it yet, Mike?
Not much yet. It's just been super busy, but I will be this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, you could download it on Audible or any of the video. And
it's not free. It's not costly, but it's not free. They don't have it in the library. I checked our public library, like for the Audible version. So they don't have that, but it is not costly. It's like $16 or something like that.
Yeah. The other thing too is buy it, and then when you're done with it, give it to a friend.
Yeah, share it exactly.
Share it, pass it on. But really good stuff and great concepts. Some even good things with your own personal budget. You'll find some just really great concepts. And then coming up, Mike, one of our favorite days of the year is Mother's Day, and we're doing something different this year, Mike.
Yeah, I like what we're doing. I really do.
Yeah,
I'll be there, but I like what you guys are doing.
So in years past, often my wife has spoken on Mother's Day, and I speak on Father's Day, and I always have an illustrated message. And but this year we're mixing it up. I'm speaking on Mother's Day, and Pastor Deanna is speaking on Father's Day. Okay, thanks, Laura, for that update. Yes, I'm glad you're reading. So those are the things coming up. So every lady in attendance will be getting a gift. But here's the thing on both Mother's Day and Father's Day, it is not just a message that's geared to women or men. Right. Our messages are universally appropriate. They will connect and challenge you no matter who you are. So you don't have to be like the guy that's like afraid to come on Mother's Day or the mom who's afraid to come on Father's Day. And the other thing that we don't do at our church, and it's been part of our DNA, is we don't say how awesome the moms are on Mother's Day and say 3 points in a poem and give them flowers and say how wonderful they are, and then beat up the dads for not being better on Father's Day. It is not that at all. We want to empower and build up each of them, so you don't have to be afraid of coming on either Sunday. And we're also sensitive to people who haven't been able to have children, so we got you. It's a day that we gear for ladies. But let's be honest, we love the moms and the dads in our lives. So we just want to, we have a very balanced approach to that. Well, as I shared last week, we had our draft, and we have somebody that's going to come on. For some of you, he might be brand new. For most of you, he will not be a stranger. He's somebody that was part of our Celebration Church for years. God used him, raised him up, and now he's actually a youth pastor. So we are so proud of him. Let's put our hands together. I wish I had like a soundtrack to do like the clapping or whatever. There it is. Mike Kinney, welcome to our podcast. It is so good to see you tonight.
Hey, what's up, fellas? How's it going?
What's up?
It is going well. So, Mike,
awesome.
Thank you so much for jumping in last week on our draft. So for those of you who don't know, we basically, the NFL had their own draft this week, and we thought, why can't we do a Bible character or Bible person draft? And we basically had to come up with a Bible person and say whether or not they're going to play offense. Some of our players went both ways. Someone actually picked a special teamer, picked a punter. So
listen, we're going to end up bantering. I know that. And for those of you who don't know, I have actually played real fantasy football with both of these gentlemen in a church league and a non-church league. And all three of us are super competitive and talk
Yes.
trash. So we're going to behave today. A little bit.
A little.
I never agreed to that.
It's my first
Well,
time on the
that's-
show. I got to take it easy.
Yeah. No, if you ever want to come back, no. We're just glad that you're here. So here's what we're gonna do. I will read the picks as they happened. So it's our first round pick, and we're gonna have some fun. So you have to tell why you picked them, and then we are going to say why it was a terrible pick, if we think so. Okay. So we're just gonna have some fun with this. I'm gonna put up a special ticker because I think this is so important for everyone who's watching to say what is going on, especially if they tune in later. So you could just read and scroll below. So in the first round, Mike Molinaro picked Daniel.
Yep.
So tell us why you picked Daniel, and then let's do this. You have 30 seconds to say why you liked it, and then each of us have 15 seconds to say why we didn't like it.
All right. Well, I'll tell you why I picked him. Homie interpreted the dreams. Okay. For the king of that day, he literally was in the fire, like a fire that was hotter than anybody can imagine. Right. You couldn't even get close to the furnace. And he spent the whole night in a lion's den and just chilled out and survived. Obviously, there's other reasons for the Lord, right, being there. But I think if you can sleep with lions, survive a furnace full of fire, and interpret dreams, that's a number one pick overall.
Okay. So Mike Kenny, why is that a bad pick?
Well, I mean, a cat guy, really? I mean, come on. How strong are cat guys, you know?
Yeah, okay, Mike.
It's a stretch, I know.
Well, I just think he's always in trouble. If you want a locker room cancer, it's Daniel. He's in adversity every time, everywhere he's at. He's causing problems. He's in a lion's den. He's in a fire. You never hear about him winning. You just hear about him surviving. So if you want to survive the season, that's okay.
What do you mean he's surviving? He's winning, bro. That's winning. You walk out of fire, you win, bro. That's it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And if you're in this kitty cat den, like Kenny is saying, you're winning. Okay, I like to see you do it, both of you.
All right, the second pick in the first round was Mike Kinney, who picked David. So tell us why he was a good pick.
Well, general, leader, he's strong, he's brave. I mean, who else could you pick to lead your team number one overall?
Joshua, but what? Sorry.
So that's what you're going with? All right. Mike, Go ahead. Why is it a bad pick?
Well, listen, I can agree to some of those things that you're saying, Mike, but first pick overall, this guy goes behind people's backs. Right? I'm just saying, he's not good in the locker room. You can't trust that dude. You can't bring him to your house, especially if you're married. You can't.
So I'll tell you why he's a bad pick. Because when everyone else was playing, the Bible actually says when the generals went off to battle, they went to play. He stayed home. He stayed home. He didn't even show up to the game. How can you pick someone in the first round who's not going to show up?
Oh, he's over there playing his little harp and all this other stuff.
I mean, if you're picking the Super Bowl halftime entertainment, maybe. But this is your starter? This is your number one pick?
Hey, man after God's own heart.
Kenny, you know what he's doing, right? So now, because he's the MC and he has all the data in front of him, he's going to go with Paul now. And let's go. What do you got?
This is my data. It's just the picks. There's my data. That's all the data in front of me. Really. All right. So you called me out. You got me. There it is. So my first pick was Paul, and I picked him for defense because there is no one who defended the gospel more than Paul. In fact, he is responsible for the majority of the New Testament. He has a playbook. He ran it well, and He made everyone around him better.
Yeah, but nobody liked him.
No one liked Deion Sanders either.
Prime time.
Touche. I think it's a good pick. Honestly, I mean, for nostalgia, I just gotta say, it's a good pick. It's a
Listen,
good pick.
I have no rebuttal other than nobody liked him.
All right.
Oh man.
So round 2. Mike Kenny, he went with Joshua.
No, I went with Joshua.
Oh, that's right. Mike Molinaro.
Yeah.
I apologize. I'm sorry. My data in front of me
Yeah.
was, I just misread it. So Mike Molinaro, Joshua. Why was he a good pick?
First of all, he is the OG leader, not like, well, he's before David, right? He had to deal with all the tribes of Israel, conquer Canaan, get those 12 tribes who just kept not listening, took down Jericho. He had to work, he had a lot that he had to go through, and then like his leader, his coach, like just passed, and it's like, you know what? He won the Super Bowl, right? He took them into the promised land, right? So that's why I picked him.
Okay. Mike Kenny, why is it a bad pick?
How long did they wander the desert after he took over?
A long time, 40 years, something like that.
Okay.
He had to grow up. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Look, Pastor, how long was Chuck Noll head coach of the Steelers before he won his first Super Bowl?
Probably 20 years.
Okay, 20 years. Okay, there you go. So what took him 40? It took him years. But Chuck Noll's a Hall of Famer.
Well,
National
I
Hall of
think
Famer.
he's a bad pick because the only thing we know about him is the stuff that you find at a truck stop plaque. I mean, when your go-to line is "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." That's the only line you know about Joshua. Come on.
Goated. He's goaded. Like they've been. Me and my house will serve the Lord. 20,000 years later, we're still saying it.
Yeah. But we're saying more stuff about other people. Just saying. We got better quotes from other people. But anyhow, all right. Mike Kenny, Jonah. Why was Jonah? And you picked him because
Speed.
speed.
Yeah, I'm looking for fast running backs. Running backs in fantasy, they win. They win. And Jonah, he ran so fast from God's calling, and he ran so hard. I mean, now what happened later? But still, he was quick, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for speed.
Okay.
When I think of Jonah, I think of Antonio Brown when he went to the Raiders. All right, that's what I think.
A traitor.
Traitor.
And CTE. So you're saying Jonah struggled with CTE.
Didn't listen to anything anybody had to say. All right,
He came around.
Okay. I'm going to tell you why Jonah is probably the worst pick in the entire draft.
Okay.
Yes, he ran, but he ran the wrong way. Remember the famous guy who scored a touchdown in the wrong end zone? That's who you just picked in the second round. He runs the wrong way.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yep.
you're a lineman, right? You played on the line.
Yeah.
Well, how much did you love the running backs who ran the wrong way? That didn't know how to hit the hole. Huh?
I'll tell you that they would get hit eventually, but not by the other team.
So Jonah was a terrible pick. Just saying.
Okay.
Again, for all of you who are watching, please read the scroll at the bottom of the screen. So my second round pick was Samson. Samson was a person who was a trash talker. He literally brought the house down. He was a man of strength. They didn't know where his strength came from. He could do it all. He could play on the line, both defensive line. They couldn't block him. They couldn't stop him. They tried to thwart his plans all the time, but they could not stop Samson. One man wrecking crew. Samson.
When all my life I had an illustration of Samson, like big buff and all this other stuff, and I heard a sermon, and it's probably yours, that he probably wasn't, right? He was probably some scrawny guy who just had the power of the Lord, right? So when I picture Samson, I picture Forrest Gump playing for Alabama. All right, that's like can't stop him, right? But not too bright. Okay, not too bright. Sleeping with Delilah. All right, so many days like, and then he tells her it's like he got seduced. I'm like, bro, you had to learn. All right, you had to learn, to smarten up a little bit, listen to your parents. All right,
Listen to your parents.
All I'm gonna say is
you would not say that to any pro athlete. Listen to your parents.
all I'm gonna say is I hope your team doesn't have any cheerleaders.
Oh, look at that. See?
We're the Pittsburgh Steelers. We don't have cheerleaders. People come to watch the football game, not the cheerleaders. But anyhow. All right. Third round. Mike Molinaro went with Abraham.
It's the father of the faith. He
I think your words were he does well in the trenches.
he does do well in the trenches. I had him on the line, I think, if I remember correctly.
You don't even know why you picked him?
I don't. I really don't. It was like I was going through this, and I was like, all right. I was like, who's great? Who's great? But I'll stay. Listen, he's on the team. He's on the squad. I need him.
You need him because you don't have anyone left. He's like
Takes chances. Takes chances. He doesn't care about killing his kids. Just go.
you took someone off the practice squad as your third round draft pick.
He's not in a practice squad. This guy's got generations.
Yeah.
He's a generational player. There you go.
It's not about him. It's about later on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're just like the Atlanta Falcons. We're drafting for the future.
All right, so Mike, why is it a bad pick?
Oh man.
Because Mike doesn't know why he even picked him.
Exactly. I don't even have to defend that at this point. I mean, he yes, he was a father of many nations, but you know, he was scared, man. He feared death so bad. I mean, I think he gets on that field and he's just going to be so scared. He's not even going to want to play.
So I'll tell you why he's a bad pick. Is because too little, too late. You know, you keep saying you're going to have a baby and you wait till you're over 100 years old to do it. You know, sometimes teams could come back in the fourth quarter, but it's a 60-minute game.
He'll be asleep by then.
He was in it for the long run. He was in it for the long run.
Okay. Mike Kenny picked Peter in the third round. So Mike, why Peter?
So Peter was so I picked him for like defensive because Peter was so quick to defend. Like when the guards came into the garden, he jumped right up. I mean, he jumped right in, swung his sword, cut someone's ear off. I mean, you need that type of aggression out on the field.
Oh,
Maybe
Do you? Mike,
not that much, but
Well, I will agree with you, Kenny, that he is a showstopper at times. Not too smart up there, all right? Doesn't think before he does things, okay? So he doesn't follow the plays, but then he learns. So I like the pick. I don't love it, but I like it. Good on my team. I'm jealous that I picked Abraham over him. So if we want to trade, I can give you one of my finagling trades that I used to do with my kids. Like, oh, hey, if you give me Patrick Mahomes, I will give you these two receivers that did well one game. So
you want me to trade the guy that you want for the guy that you didn't know why you picked? No, I'll pass.
It's worked before.
Yeah, your son's not in the chat room though.
I know.
So I'll tell you why it's a terrible pick. Because he's going to get ejected in the first quarter. When he cuts off the ear of some defenseless guy, he's going to be in the locker room. I mean, he's impulsive and not only that, he was a coward. He was a coward. He wouldn't stand up for his team. When he went to the locker room, it would be about everyone else and not take personal responsibility himself. So Peter's a bad pick.
Okay.
Okay.
Probably not wrong.
Although Mike Molinaro wants to trade for him, so
Yeah.
Hey, at least I know why I'm trading for him.
because you didn't know why you picked your other guy.
Word of mouth.
So my third round pick was Elijah, and I picked him because of trash talking. I picked him because, again, I like people who are aggressive, who stand up. He fought the prophets of Baal. No one else did. He went on the battlefield, and he trash talked them, saying, "Was there God on the toilet?" I love that. I love that line. I think that should be on a plaque. I think instead of "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord," I think I would rather have the plaque, Christian plaque that says, "Where's your God on the toilet?" I mean, I think that can resonate with a new emerging, what is it, Gen Xers or millennials? I think millennials would.
Gen Zs.
I think Gen Zs would be all about "Where's your God on the toilet." So.
I know Mike Kenny and I have some Gen Zs that are roaming around our house. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely agree with that one.
So tell
Yeah.
me your sons, would they rather buy "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord," or "Where's your God on the toilet"?
Hold on. Before I answer that question, Michael said to me yesterday, my son Michael said to me, "Hey, did you know that like this like for me and my house we'll serve the Lord?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I've never seen that." I'm like, "Bro, it's in the middle. As soon as you walk in the house." He's like, "Really?"
So if you replace it with "Where's your God on the toilet," I bet you he'd be showing all of his
Oh
friends.
yeah. What about you, Mikey? What do you think?
I mean, that's a good line. I'll give that to you. He's a good trash talker. But I think that's about the extent of it. You get some good trash talking, but what else you got?
I just think that for this guy to play professionally, he's going to have to change his diet a little bit. All right, he's going to have to listen. There's no way he's going to last in today's day and age on just living off locusts and honey, and like that's not happening, bro. Like we need a little bit more protein in your life. He's got issues. We're talking about I know what you're thinking. Like, oh, it lasted back then. He was out in the wilderness. No, today it's not working. It's a bad pick. Okay, his diet is not there. His health it's going to deteriorate. I know this. It's a bad pick.
Just warning you, Mike Kinney, he's coming at you with the same stale line on John the Baptist.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. 'Cause I already used.
All right. Next pick was round 4, and Mike Molinaro picked James.
The dude is patient. He's patient. He's gonna stay. I might even put that dude at quarterback. All right, just stay in the pocket. Why? And then he's gonna know if he has to get out of the pocket. Right? He knows how to pray for wisdom. He taught us all how to do it.
Mike Kinney.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. All right, I'll drop it. There you go. How many times you heard that joke, Mike? Drop the mic.
Mike Kinney, why is he a bad pick?
Where do we start?
Because he makes you feel bad every time you read his book. Is that what it is, Mike?
I mean, he's got some skills writing. I'll give him that. But would he have some skills on the field? Come on.
Bro, his brother's Jesus. It's in the blood. I don't know.
Okay.
All right, with my 15 seconds, I'm just going to give it back to Mike Molinaro and say, go ahead. It sounds like when you're talking about him, the more you talk, the least likely I was going to say he was a good pick. So I think instead of me trash talking him, I just give you more time to tell why.
Listen, I don't need
We're
to
about
talk
5
anymore.
seconds in so far. He said, "Listen,
I gave you like three.
I
words.
gave you."
3 words, and that's all I needed.
I think it's because it's all you had.
Listen. Every time you read his book, you guys are convicted. I'm convicted. All right. He makes you want to get better. Okay. He's the guy on the field that makes you want to get better.
Yeah, because he's always in adversity. He's
Just
always losing. He's
go to
like
the
the
next
fantasy.
pick.
He's like the fantasy football quarterback that everyone picks because their team's always losing. And
I
of course,
don't lose in
passing.
fantasy football. I don't lose in fantasy football. I'm just telling. Ask your
All right.
son. Your son will tell you that.
We're talking Bible here, baby. So the next pick that I went with is Elisha, not Elijah, and here's why: because of all the records that Elijah set, Elisha did twice as much. He had twice as many stats, twice as many carries, twice as much TDs, twice as much receptions, twice as many wins. I mean, talk about taking your team to the next level. He would be like coming in and replacing Barry Sanders with, get this, a better Barry Sanders.
Bad analogy. How about you go Joe Montana, Steve Young? All right.
Oh, see, look. So why did you jump there? Because you see the echelon and the caliber of my player. You went to Hall of Famers, and you said, because you know how good Elisha is.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
But you're supposed to be. That's the thing that I'm finding interesting. So that's why I went Elisha. And Mike Molinaro defended him. So I think you took your 15 seconds putting him in a Hall of Fame. So that's great. So Mike Kenny, you got anything to say? You got something to bring at me?
I mean, the only thing that I could say about Elisha was that he's kind of a bit of a crybaby.
I can't wait till you get to heaven. And Elisha's like, hey, I saw that podcast. Cry baby.
Oh, Lord forgive me.
You sit down your lunch tray and the table, and it's Elisha. I've been waiting for you. Oh, so fun. So fun. All right. Fifth round, Mike Molinaro went with Joseph. But this was not, I think he said not the other Joseph. This is the husband of Mary.
Yes. And the reason why I went with him is that his character on the field, like he's the guy that like you need to somebody to like you look up to, he's a mentor. He's OG. He's been there for a while. He went through adversity. He knows the playbook. He knows when to move, where to move. He's close with ownership. He's tight with ownership. Right? Yeah, he's that guy that was in there. He had connections. Whatever you needed, he'd take care of you.
Okay. Mike Kinney, why is he a bad pick?
Oh, I'm trying to think of a. Yeah, I'm going. Can you go first? You go first.
I'll go first. I'll tell you why Joseph was a bad pick.
There we go.
You said that he knew the playbook. He did not read the playbook, or he would had a place for his wife to stay when she's having a baby. Instead, she's in a barn having a baby. What's that about? Huh?
It was prophetic, bro.
He was not prepared.
It's
not
prophetic.
prepared.
Prophetic.
Yeah. You take Lisa to a barn when she's pregnant. You tell me that that's going to be a good team player.
Aaron was born on Fletcher and over there. It's the same freaking thing.
Aaron was not born on Fletcher. He was born at the hospital on Fletcher.
Oh, yeah, I got to agree with Larry on that one. It is, you got to be prepared. He wasn't.
He did what he had to do.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did. All right. So John the Baptist is Mike Kinney's 5th round draft pick in. Tell us why you picked John the Baptist.
Who else do you want on the field, leading your team, leading the charge, than somebody who is so focused and so faithful and committed to God's plan for his life than John the Baptist?
He's a wannabe.
Oh, man.
Did you just call John the Baptist a wannabe?
Yes, he did.
Absolutely.
So I get Elisha, you get John the Baptist.
I hope that I'm at a lunch table close to both of you. I can't wait to see this.
Oh, man. That was funny.
So why would I say John the Baptist is a bad draft pick? I don't think he's a bad draft pick. I just think that there was better players on the board when you picked. I think he's a reach. I think he's a great player, but you could have got him easily as an unrestricted free agent. Better players on the board. I mean, you have people like Noah and Adam, and you have Meher Balahashes, which is the coolest name in the Bible. I mean,
The third.
You have Mephibosheth, who was handicapped, but yet he survived. I mean, there's some great people. Needless to say, the Apostle John, which I think you could have taken right there. He would have solidified your running back room. If you remember, John was the fastest disciple, right? When they went to the tomb, what's the Bible say? John ran on ahead.
Yeah.
Fastest guy, right?
Yeah.
Good pick, but there was better players left on the board. So I'll just go with that.
Okay. But good pick.
Good pick, but a reach.
At least I know why I picked him.
Very true.
The draft was me with Moses. And I have him as a player coach. He had the first playbook, right? The 10 Commandments. He was so close that other people, like, how would you guard Moses when you couldn't even look at him? Like, he'd be running down the field and you can't even look directly at him because of the glow on his life. I mean, he's like the ultimate cheat code in Madden. You know what he is? Moses is like NBA Jam when you had the streak going and you went on fire and he was just jamming it, right?
What position would you put him at?
I would put him at any position. Any position you want.
So he's going to be a play caller?
He's going to be a play caller.
Yeah. What play call is he going to?
Oh, are you gonna bring up his speech impediment?
Yes,
you're
absolutely. No, listen. Moses is a good pick, but he needed other people to help. He needed Aaron to help him out. All right, he just needed to help.
You know what those things are called in the NFL?
What's that?
Coaches.
Yeah. Well, he's supposedly your head coach, right?
Player. He's a coach and player coach. He can do it all.
He can't do it all.
He can.
No, he couldn't. He couldn't get to the promised land.
He got him there.
But he did not get in.
He got him there. He discipled your pick, Joshua. He taught him how.
Could have taken him 2 weeks.
Dude,
could have taken him 2 weeks to get past the Red Sea to the promised land. This guy's walking around for 40 years.
Look at that. Boom. I have someone coming from outside our circle into this room and went with me on the NBA Jam illustrations.
That's awesome.
Boom. Good pick. All right. Well, tonight, if you listened, you heard our picks and why. You heard our reasons why we didn't think. If you, and again, it's not who you pick, but if you look at our picks again, and we'll post them this week, we want you to vote. Again, this was just fun. not theologically correct. And I know obviously that Mike Kinney and Mike Molinaro didn't really mean the trash talk to the people of the Bible who's in.
Oh, no. I will tell John the Baptist when I get to heaven, you're a wannabe.
You tell to his face.
His face.
And you know,
he's going to be, he'll probably be like, oh, yeah? He's like, I want to see you get your head cut off.
he's going to say the same thing that the demon said to the disciples. Paul I know, and Jesus I know, but who are you?
Yeah. You're right. Thanks for letting me in.
Man, this I don't know if you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I have not cried, laughed this hard for a long time. I know it was silly. I know it was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We have to do something like this again sometime. Absolutely. Mike Kinney, we love you. We are so proud of you. Keep kicking Satan's teeth over with your youth group, and we're so very proud of you. Know that you're always family to us. We love you. God bless you. We love Naomi. We love your kids, and just keep on keeping on. We're so proud of you.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I miss you guys. I love you guys so much. And Pastor Larry, I'm so grateful for everything you did for me and my tough time that I went through. And you really helped me really find my stride and go after God. And I really appreciate you and Mike. You were always such a good friend, and I appreciate both of you guys. And I love watching. I'm going to keep watching you guys every single week. So keep an eye out for my comments. I'll keep throwing those comments out there.
All right, man.
Brother.
We love you, and we'll see you soon, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I love you too, guys.
Wow, that was fun, Mike. I don't know about you, but that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and for those of you who have never really witnessed a fantasy draft, that's literally what it is. Like it's just fun. Like some people don't know what fantasy sports is and stuff like that. It's really just people coming together, having some fun, and the most important part is coming together and having fun. So that's when we talk about the podcast, it's just two guys being very real. Like this is what we do consistently, and Mike Kenny came in today, and we've lived that with him before. So we're crazy. We're real, but we're crazy, and but we're also we love Jesus, and it's okay to have fun. We don't have, as Christians, we're called out to spread the gospel, but we can't be stale in the way we do it. And if this is one of the ways that we're going to impact the world, then let's do it.
Yeah, and for those of you who are watching, if you live in the Tampa area, we'd love to see you face to face. We know our podcast, and it doesn't matter how you stumbled here. We're so glad that you're here. But if you can be with us on Sundays, we have Sunday school at 9:30, services for kids and adults, and also we have youth on Sunday nights at 7:00. It's not on this graphic, but if you click on that QR code, it'll take you to our website, and you can find out more information about. If you and subscribe to our channel, stay connected to all the cool things. So until next time, we can't wait to be with you. Mike, you have anything else you want to close us out with tonight?
Lord's good, Lord's faithful. I always like to share a praise report. Working on my development as we're working through our Book of the Month series, and one of the things that I'm looking to go into is to senior leadership. I was praying I got accepted into an executive leadership development program at work. It's not a raise or anything. It's literally just a program to develop myself, but for the senior and executive level. So something that I've been praying about actually for years. So the Lord has opened the door for that.
No, we're so stoked for you. I know God's going to use you in a big way there.
Thank you.
Again, we love each and every one of you. We're so thankful that you've tuned into the Celebration Podcast. Until next time, we hope that you have a great night, and we'll see you. Peace.
There you go.